Hello, Go Horrors and fellow Deadites. I'm Brendan.
I'm Sam.
And welcome to Our Life in Horror.
And we are joined by our friend Ian, so I'm going to bring him in.
Yeah.
Hey, Ian, how you doing?
I'm good. Hello, guys. Nice to see you. And nice to be online on YouTube. So, very cool.
Thank you for joining us. Do you want to let everyone know where they can find you? Talk about, you have a YouTube channel. Talk about that.
Yeah, I actually have two YouTube channels because I'm very disorganized. One was meant to be for my movies and to be uploaded. That's Bubba Batch and Films YouTube, but then I kept putting them on my public account too, which is Ian Makes Films on YouTube. So it's just a bunch of nonsense. If you go to either of those accounts, you'll find lots of weird short movies and other assorted nonsense. And I've got my Twitter too, which is just even more nonsense. Just mostly talk about wrestling and horror movies. So if anyone wants to go on those and send me questions or just ignore me, there you go. There they are.
A lot of horror fans watch wrestling too. I feel like they go hand in hand. I'm not personally into wrestling, but I see people talk about it all the time.
Me neither. I don't really see the appeal.
Yeah. But it's all over my timeline when there's big events and stuff because of all the people in the horror community. So we're doing Late Night with the Devil. Do you want to tell everyone why you picked this film?
I picked this movie because I saw the trailer so many months ago now, and I just thought, oh, that's cool. Like, the premise of it looked interesting. I know it's similar to an English one called Ghostwatch, but it just looked cool and different. And I finally managed to find it in a cinema in England. I saw it and I was just blown away by how weird and bizarre and nightmarish it was. And I just thought, you know what? If I'm going to discuss a movie, let's discuss something that I've seen so many times I can just talk about for hours and hours. And there you go. I'm just a huge fan of it, and I think it's, for my money, one of the best horror movies of the year. So I thought, hey, let's discuss.
Awesome. You originally picked The Bay, which I had never heard of, but we ended up watching it too, and I liked it.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, that was a good one too. I'm just gonna go to the comments here. I'm one of those wrestling fans in the horror community. Hello, the Bitter Wolf. Thank you for joining us. Okay, do you guys want to get into it then?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'll read the description and the cast and stuff, and then we'll get into the discussion. I have it all on my phone because I forgot to print stuff.
I cannot wait for you to try to read the lead's last name.
I already practiced earlier, and I'm still not going to get it.
Because I also need an idea on how to read it.
I'll do my best.
I have no idea either. I wrote it down so I would try and figure it out, and I have no confidence I'm going to get it right. So.
Oh, and we have Ryan with us too. What's up, guys? Haven't seen Late Night, but here for the sport. Oh, thank you, Ryan. You're going to get some spoilers. You've been warned. Okay, so it's got a 7 out of 10 on IMDb and a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. Release date was March 10th, 2023. Was this last year already? 2023?
I think that's the circuit route it did.
Yeah.
Because it came out this year, right?
On streaming and physical.
Yeah, I saw it in April at cinema, but I think it did the festival circuit run late last year.
That makes sense then. Okay.
Yeah, and then Shudder picks it up and then releases it.
Directors are Cameron Cairns and Colin Cairns. Box office was $12.7 million. In 1977, a live television broadcast goes horribly wrong, unleashing evil into the nation's living rooms. The budget is unknown, but they spent $150,000 on visual effects,
which isn't that bad.
Yeah, and then it's starring David Dastmalchian. I swear I practiced earlier and I just butchered that.
Everybody's watching now.
Oh no! Starring David, Ingrid Torelli, Laura Gordon, Ian Bliss, Georgina Haig, Basil Bazzi, Rye Ottery. Yeah,
Is that Michael Ironside?
Yeah, he did narration for it.
No way! I did not know that.
I know, I heard it. First time I saw it, I heard that voice and I was like, I know who that is, but I can't place it. And then I read afterwards and I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, that threw me for a loop. That was so cool when I found that out.
Yeah, I fucking love Michael Ironside.
So we'll go to the comments here quick and then we'll talk about our spoiler-free thoughts. So,
Ooh.
God, where did I leave off? Davey, hey.
Hi, Davey.
Thanks for joining us. We're going on Davey's show this week,
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Oh, nice.
Late night with the Davey.
Wow.
Everyone's saying hi. Frank, hi, how are
Frank.
you doing? Frank's got a live, I believe, tomorrow night as well
On what?
Cool.
on his. Oh, I was gonna say on his channel.
No, it goes to the topic.
I believe it's his summer movies, but it's his 1K celebration.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Congratulations.
Yes. I saw it in April as well. The ending especially played well on the big screen.
Oh, I
Yeah,
bet.
it did. It was crazy at the cinema to watch it.
This movie is awesome. All right. Spoiler-free thoughts. What do you think of this movie, Ian? I know you kind of talked about it a little bit already.
I loved it. I think it's great, and I watched it twice this week for this discussion, and it's one of those rare movies. I just thought I enjoyed it second time around so much more, and that I had to stop and go. I need to actually make notes on this, otherwise I'm going to look ridiculous on air. But I must have seen it like 7 times already. It's great. It's exactly the sort of weird horror movie I love. That's like, it's just so unique. I mean, I know it's kind of similar to that Ghostwatch one, but in terms of like American cinema releases, I can't think of the last time I saw anything like this at the cinema. So I'm a huge fan of it. Huge fan.
Brendan?
So this is our second time watching it.
Yes.
This is my first time finishing it.
Yes.
For some reason at the hour mark, I am zonked out.
He falls asleep. He fell asleep twice watching this movie. I don't think because you didn't like it. You're just tired.
No, I actually really like this movie, but I just
can't stay awake.
I could not get through it. And then when I was watching like a half hour ago, I was watching the ending, and I was like, how did I not stay awake for this? Because it just goes balls to the wall nuts, and that's my favorite type. I really enjoyed this movie. I understand why a lot of people are saying it's the best horror movie of the year. I think there's going to be maybe a tie up here with Day One.
I was gonna say there's lots of love here. It's my favorite film of the year so far. I simply love this movie. Now, I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to point out exorcism movies are not really my thing.
I wouldn't even go as far as to say it's an exorcism movie, wouldn't you?
Well, it's definitely a unique. It reminds me of what's that one movie? Cleansing Hour.
Yep.
Loved Cleansing Hour. This one was like fine.
Okay.
I'm gonna get hate now. Like I liked it. I don't know if it's something I'm gonna go back and watch again though. I've seen it twice now. I think I'm good.
Yep.
But it's just not my subgenre.
Okay.
So that's the reasoning. I don't think it's a bad movie. I thought it was well done, and I've got nice things to say about it.
All right.
But yeah, we'll get into spoilers now because it's hard to do spoiler-free thoughts. Okay. Describe this movie in 3 words.
My personal view of it is this is basically Nightmare Fuel incarnate for me, because I could not imagine being on chat show, and if I was on chat show and this happened, I'd just be like, oh my god, what what am I doing with my life? But no, first time saw it at Sigmar, I was like, that ending part was just, it was like having an acid trip in Sigmar. I was like, is this actually what I'm seeing? Or am I just hallucinating because I haven't had much sleep in the last few days? But yeah, definitely nightmare fuel for me. It was just terrifying.
I put a classic 70s show because this movie like truly represents what it was like to watch a talk show during the 70s.
Okay. I put 70s. Like you said, it's not an exorcism though. Like there's a possession, I guess.
Yes.
So I'll change my word to 70s possession show.
Okay.
I put talk show with us 2 more words.
You can hyphen it.
Yeah.
Do some cheating.
We also got Craig here. What's up, Brandon Sam? Glad you're talking Late Night with the Devil. One of my favorite. Watched 5 times so far.
Wow.
Whoa.
Beautiful.
Oh, you got the Umbrella release too. Oh, what a nice release.
Yeah.
All right. Who's your favorite character?
I'm actually going to go for Carmichael, the Carmichael Haig. I just thought that sense of showmanship and sort of slightly hammy performance, and the fact that you don't really get to know that much about it, just get what the movie puts out to you that he can actually do with that spoilers, that hypnosis trick, which is basically goes beyond magic if you can hypnotize that many people. And it's just like, it's just such a fascinating character where I'm like, is there any more that you're not telling us, or is this on face level all there is? But also where he just makes fun of everyone on the entire show throughout the entire thing and just winds everyone up. He brings a lot of tension to it that I think it wouldn't otherwise have. So yeah, that's by far my favorite character from the movie.
Cool.
Okay.
Who's your favorite?
I can definitely understand why you picked Carmichael, because it's very entertaining and theatrical. I really like that. I'll go with the generic Jack Delroy.
Okay.
I think he's a very complex character. You're not really truly 100% sure of his motives are either, because he's bringing on all these people that are supernatural or something like that, because he clearly wants to see if he could actually get in contact with his wife. And then he brings in Carmichael there to kind of disprove and see if there's anything to if he can disprove everything that's actually going on. So, and you're not really sure if he's just in this for the ratings because it is Sweeps Week. So you're not really 100% sure. He's kind of a little bit of a mystery.
Okay. I went with June. She's the one that's like, hey guys, chill. We shouldn't be doing this. So she's like the level-headed one, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going with June.
Okay.
And she just seems sweet. Hoping Carmichael Haig gets a spin-off. How can anyone not love Gus?
That's a good segue into my least favorite character.
Okay.
It's
your least.
Yeah, so it's like with Gus, I'm not saying it's a bad performance because it's not. I'm just saying there's something unlikable and sanctimonious about him. The way he acts during the movie, the allusion Jack makes to him being inappropriate at that burlesque club, the way he suddenly gets really religious in the behind-scenes stuff, and it's just, I think it's a complex character, but I think it's also a case of he gets less likable the more the movie goes on, the more you learn about him. So yeah, I'd say I got to disagree with Wamp 3 on that one.
Okay. Who's your least favorite?
I went with Carmichael Haig, just because he is, as much as I enjoy him as a character, he is the one that's kind of putting everybody else down. He's not giving everybody else a shot. He doesn't even give them, like, even when the people aren't even in a room, he'll still try to disprove them. And he like belittles people and stuff like that. Like he's a dick, but he's one hell of a fucking magician.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I went with the guy that looks like Danny Masterson. He's got the curly hair and the glasses. He looks like he's dressing up as him for Halloween or something.
The producer?
I guess so.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just for the fact that he looks like Danny Masterson.
Okay. Is Danny Masterson Hyde?
What?
Is that Hyde? Who's Danny Masterson?
He's the guy who's in jail now. He's from that 70s show.
Hyde.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's what I thought, but that's what exactly where my mind went to.
Yeah. Carmichael was awesome, even though he was a smarmy ass. Recommend checking out James Randi videos, who Carmichael must have been based upon. Only Randy was a sweetheart. Oh, okay.
James Randi.
Okay. Best acting. Who do you think had the best performance?
Well, I'm going to struggle to say his name, but I'm going to go with David Dastmalchian. I probably got that completely wrong, but I thought he was incredible. Like, just for everything that you were saying about the character of Jack is why I think he's so good in the movie, because he has to go from being cheesy, insincere 70s chat show host, and then you get behind scenes stuff and sees a wreck who's barely hanging on things, and then the more supernatural it gets, the more vulnerability he shows, and then they do that last bit where you find out who he really is, and it's like he's doing like 4 performances in one, and the more you learn about him, the more he changes his performance, and by the end I was like, he won't, but if I was actually running things, I'd be very, very likely to just nominate him best actor, to be honest, because the depth he is bringing to it. In fact, that for most of the movie, it's just him. Like, there's other actors, but there's entire segments where it's just him acting like a 1970s chat show host, which is not easy before you get to the other stuff. So yeah, no, he's incredible. Like, it's such a good performance.
Yeah.
Thank God you said David's last name, because now I can just say I'm agreeing with you. I think David's a huge chameleon. Like, he's great at comedic relief. He's been in so many other movies, and not that many movies as a lead as the lead.
Mm-hmm.
He was like in Ant-Man, and he was in that Boogeyman movie, and we watch him every year do the hosting of Fangoria Chainsaw Awards,
which we didn't get this year.
Bullshit. But I think he's a very excellent actor, and I'm very happy that he got maybe not his first leading role, but a leading role that gained huge critical and audience success, because I do think he carries this whole movie through, like you're saying about being a 70s talk show host. Like, he nails those beats. Those jokes he makes are so cheesy, but they work because of his performance. And then when it does get into the more serious stuff, you can see how it actually like truly affects him when it's backstage and even on the camera. So yeah, I'm going with David.
Okay. Craig agrees that the producer was a dick. And the Bitter Wolf says, I think the Chainsaw Awards are in October this year. Okay.
Oh, okay.
At least we're getting them, because I love voting and watching. Like, that's something we like to sit out back and watch it outside. And
I try to watch the movies that are nominated.
Yeah. I thought that maybe Dead Meat's awards were being replaced with it because it felt so Chainsaw Awards. I watched theirs in January, I think it was. But no, I'm glad that it's actually going to be back. He was also Polka Dot in the second Suicide Squad.
Yes, he was. He was great.
I think it's hard not to pick David, so I'm also going to say that. But because you guys both picked him, I'm going to give some props to Ingrid Torelli, who played Lily. She was creepy, like just the way she stared off at the cameras and just like stared away. And when she actually gets possessed, and she's all like,
"Oh, that's amazing."
Yeah, like I thought she did good too.
Yeah, it's hard to pick like one actor for this, because you could also go with Carmichael as well, Ian Bliss, because as much as you love him, you kind of fucking hate him at the same time. So he does very well in his role.
Yeah. Even Christo, Faisal Bazi, who plays the psychic,
really good.
like he's really out there, but
Yeah, I was gonna say he might be the only character who's just like a little over the top.
over the top. Okay.
But I still like it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I definitely agree with David, but I also think Ingrid did really good too. So score and soundtrack. What did you think of the score and soundtrack?
I liked it, but I would be hard pressed to pick out any particular parts that were like legendary or anything like that. It was just very consistent and very accurate with that sort of feel of the 1970s chat show. I did like the when the music started and visuals started getting really weird and sort of esoteric at the end. When they're on the flashbacks to game show and they're spinning the wheel and the music's just freaking out and he's screaming at the camera. Like that stuff was cool, but I don't know if I would buy the soundtrack on its own. I don't think it has quite the sort of outside appeal, but I did enjoy it. It was good.
Yeah, I felt like it was more like laugh track and like the little band doing the do-do-do in the back and stuff. And it made you, I like that though, because it made me feel like I was watching an actual talk show.
Yeah.
So that's all
Yeah, no, I totally agree with both of you. I do think it suits this film very well, but I wouldn't buy it from Waxwork Records.
No.
Yeah.
Cinematography.
Yeah, I thought just the fact that they're able to really replicate that sort of Johnny Carson 70s chat show vibe was just fantastic. And then that last act when it just becomes more of a cinematic, sort of like wider frame, and the nightmare stuff starts and it morphs and distorts, and it's just, and especially that the shot where he's being led down towards, I can't believe I'm saying this, when he's being led down towards the men who are wearing owl costumes and they start freaking out and the cinematography gets a bit lighter and it's like, it's very surreal, but it's very cool at the same time. And it's nice that after they replicated that chat show vibe for so long that they're allowed to make something more conventionally cinematic to go like, okay, now the movie's getting proper weird. So, and I love the way it got the darkness that creeped in when Carmichael was doing his hypnosis trick on Gus, and it just got very, very conventionally horror movie creepy for like 5 minutes. So yeah, no, I thought it's great. I thought it's very, very, very strange and bizarre, but very cool to watch. So
I totally agree. It does give you the it feels like it's all live, because when you're watching it and you're going through the motions, you have the 3 cameras that are usually positioned in a talk show, and they will switch cameras and you'll have to look to what each one is doing. And you even got with the hypnotizing scene too, when Carmichael is holding up the watch and he's like, get a close up on this, and then the guy zooms in on it, so it makes it feel very interactive almost. I like cinematography. The set design for this is fantastic. I love the opening, like a pseudo documentary that's going on. I don't know if pseudo, it's like a documentary that's in the beginning of the film. I really enjoyed how you get the whole backstory of Jack Delroy. And then, yeah, all the twisted images at the end. And I don't know if I'm going to save this for effects.
Okay.
Never mind. I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys said. I love the color palette of this. I like that when they're off air, it goes black and white. And then when they're on air, it's back to the 70s colors. I also like the little be right back slides and stuff like that. It just felt really like talk show.
Yeah.
It was cool. So costumes and outfits.
I thought they did a good job replicating the aesthetic of it. But my favorite one was that skeleton one in the audience, which is never paid off in any meaningful way. But it's great because it looks like a costume you could buy, but the way it was sort of I don't know, there was something off about it, so that you could view it as like, is this something we're meant to focus on, or is this just like random costume in the audience? But I love the attention detail on costumes like that. With yeah, and I love the owl costumes too that you saw, and that sort of really disturbing costume that the religious guy wore, the Abraxas guy, where it's like the color scheme. There's something just slightly off about. Yeah, I just love that sort of whole vibe of like going from these generic chat show costumes to some of the other ones where they just make them look really disturbing and slightly not natural. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the skeleton one like creeped me out. He just didn't move.
Yeah, or talk. It
Yeah.
reminded me of the kid that we used to see at Frightmare and the Cons who would dress up as Michael Myers and then
Stays in character the whole weekend. Yeah. He doesn't talk to anyone. He'll walk right up to you and just stare at you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, hey, it's you again. And he's just like, and then he just walks away. And I'm like, oh, cool.
And we to this day don't know what his face looks like. Like,
Wow.
yeah, there's tons of Halloween costumes in the audience. There was a devil, a ghost, a clown, a nun, a skeleton, a Frankenstein. I was trying to pinpoint them all.
Jesus, okay.
It was kind of fun.
You nailed him. I really like Carmichael's silk suit.
Yeah.
It just says so much about his character.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have the little like what's Fred from Scooby Doo wear?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Oh, the cravat.
Is that what it's called?
Maybe,
it's like-
I think. Yeah.
It's like one of the bandanas, but like it's like propped up here.
I know what you're talking about. I just don't know what it's called.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I like it. I think it just screams out snooty.
Yeah. All right, we'll go to the comments here and then we will continue. We got Craig. When Jay and I seen it, I said the only thing that it felt short on was mixing one or two great 70s rock or even Black Sabbath. They could have even had the credits roll up to something. Yeah.
I will agree with that. I think in the credits, I think if you were to put this in the actual movie, unless it was played at the beginning, I think it would have taken away from the immersion.
The TV show,
Yeah,
talk
the TV
show.
yeah.
Yeah. The credits, though, that would have been acceptable.
Yeah, the credits.
Yeah.
Or, like the intro talks about all the satanic panic and everything that's going on in the 70s, which was all they really focused on the bad of the 70s.
Mm-hmm. I also love that Davey and Frank are going back and forth, following each other and trying to get each other on each other's shows. Davey also says, I thought that skeleton was going to come back in a big way. Me too, definitely.
Same. I thought it was going to be a cult member or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure. I thought maybe it was like the person was possessed or something, or I don't know. Okay. Anyone else get a 2001 A Space Odyssey vibes at the end with that nightmarish surreal vibe? I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie for in years.
I don't even know what that is.
I can even. Of course you don't.
What is it?
It's 2001 A Space Odyssey.
It's a space movie, obviously, right?
Yeah, it shows like evolution over like since the apes to now, and then it shows like our next evolutionary step. It's fucking weird. I don't quite remember it, to be honest, but I know the classic scene of the apes touching the monolith and then they become humans.
Oh, okay. And Critic After Dark is with us. Hey, Bo.
Hey, Bo.
I agree as well. I was hoping for some good music. All right, memorable lines. I only wrote down 2. Did you write any down?
I only wrote one down because for me it's the most memorable line. It's when Jack walks past Lily and she says, "Don't I already look pretty, Jack?" Because I remember the first time I saw that movie, that's the point where I was like, I actually got like chills down my spine. I was like, "Oh, this is gonna get bad!" Like, because it was the way it was so slightly distorted, and like not even so much like sort of Minnie talking to Jack, but just more like this is messed up that like she's saying that in that tone and no one's reacting to it, and then she's turning around and talking normally again. I also love that that entire section with that guy in crowd who Zistu runs up to, who does that sort of stand-up routine. Where he's just talking about like, no, that's my name.
Oh,
that
yes,
section-
yeah. I like that part too. I actually wrote down the "Don't I already look pretty, Jack?" as well. That was one of my 2 lines. Did you have anything written? You were paying more attention to the movie, weren't you?
Well, I do think this movie lacks in potential like memorable lines. I think there are a good few lines which I did not write down. But of course, you got "Good Evening, Night Owls." I think that is such an excellent name for a late night talk show. And then I also have "Dreamer Wake Up."
Okay.
Oof. Yeah, that's a good one. That's good.
Yeah, because you could tell Jack just wanted to wake up so badly at the end of this film.
I wrote one more down just because I thought it was fucking funny. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fuck each other's brains out.
Yeah.
I had to. I was like, that was good.
It's a great line, but it's also the fact that they nailed that bad chat show vibe. They don't catch the first swear words. It airs without bleep. And then they try and bleep it the second time. And it's just so amateurish that makes it even funnier. It's
Yeah.
sort of like so true to life.
Great line, Sam. Thank you. Skeleton was the only character from the audience that shows up at the end before he takes the drink at the Grove. What's up, Bo? Oh, I didn't notice that. Did you guys have any least favorite lines, or I didn't write anything down?
I didn't either.
I mean, I wouldn't say because it's a bad line as such, but when Leo producer just snaps at Gus and just goes into a really unpleasant line about how I won't repeat the words he uses because they're not very nice at all, but it's just how angry he is with that line. I was like, that's even in 70s, like that's an awful thing to say to someone, even if you're upset with them over accusing you of whatever he was accusing him of. But I was like, it's like, what a terrible thing to say to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any lines as like.
Yeah, I didn't either. What was your favorite kill?
Oh god, I'm gonna go for Carmichael. That entire section where like this guy who's a skeptic for the entire movie suddenly is sort of like, no. It's sort of like he holds up the check and just like, no. And just it looks slightly off, like the effects weren't quite there, but just the inventiveness of it, I was like, very, very cool. I did enjoy that one. That was very cool.
Yeah, I think pretty much all the kills at the end, because they happen so fast, they're almost simultaneously happen.
Yeah.
But it's like the one that got me was Gus,
Okay.
because it was so quick. It was head snap, and then he just drops to the floor, and then you get the woman up next, and I was like, oh damn, like what's happening? But yeah, I'll go with Gus because he was like right off the smash.
I'm gonna go with June, the throat slit.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
so
she
good
gets
too.
pulled up with the chain, and then throat just rips. Yeah, I like that one. Craig, my least favorite line is when my wife said, "What the fuck did you just make me sit through?" That's funny. I know Craig loves this movie. So, what's your least favorite kill?
I'm going to go for probably the well, it's not clear if it's a flashback or nightmare sequence, but like what happens to his wife, like the because that was very disturbing and very drawn out, and like you were saying, the other ones happen very, very quick, and that one's you really get a sense that they're keeping it as still in frame as possible to really make you realize how horrible it is, and that was very uncomfortable to watch. So definitely Madeline's one.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Christo
Is it the psychic?
Yep.
That's what I was gonna say too.
because
Yeah.
you don't get to see it.
Yeah. I do like the eeriness of them saying like he died on the way to the hospital, but like, yeah, that would be my least favorite too.
Okay.
Yeah. Gore and special effects. What do you think of the special effects in this movie?
I really enjoyed them, but I think a case can definitely be made that there was some budgetary restraints on what they could do. But for me, the reason it works is because it all feels a bit off and a bit different how it would normally be done. Like when Lily becomes the demon at the end, it looks unlike anything I've seen in a horror movie in years. Like when the head opens up and lightning, it looks so weird and so like awkward and slightly, especially in cinema, it's with the sound and visuals, it was just incredibly disturbing to watch. So yeah, no, I thought the gore and the effects were just perfect for what they were going for.
Okay.
I definitely agree with that. And I think the practical effects look great. There's the worms, which I thought was fucking disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
And the scene with Lily at the end and why her head splits open and it looks so unnatural is because I believe that was created with AI.
I was wondering that too.
So I believe somebody said that this is like the first movie to use an AI generated special effect. And I believe that's it, because I have also never seen anything like this in my entirety of watching movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just at awe of how good I thought it looked really good. It's unfortunate I'm saying this because a lot of people might be out of some jobs, but I think it looked really good. It's like insanely unique. I was floored by how good I thought it actually looked.
Okay. I don't know if I love AI effects.
Okay.
And I know, like, sure, it looks good for like AI, like it's not practical, but I think I just prefer my movies with practical personally.
But how would you be able to make something like that?
Oh, you wouldn't. So, like, I guess they had to do it. I get that. I just think I would prefer to watch a movie more like gory and slashery, you know, like practical.
Yeah. If it wasn't made with AI, it would have been made with CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying it looked bad. It just wasn't my cup of tea for what I want to see.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think it was bad by any means. It just
wasn't for you.
Just wasn't for me.
Yeah. I
didn't care too much for that whole scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also really enjoy Lily's slight demonic change.
Yeah.
Her face gets a little more masculine.
Yeah.
Her eye changes color.
Yeah.
It was so subtle that it would it works so well.
I actually wrote that and completely forgot because I got distracted with the AI. But like even her under eye makeup and stuff, like
Yeah,
it looked good.
it really reminded me of like The Exorcist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed. The effects were excellent. Sup,
What's up, Brian?
Sup, Brian? Thank you for joining us. Storyline and pacing.
Yeah, no, I thought the pacing of it, where like the first sort of hour and a bit, it's just exactly like you'd imagine a chat show from the 70s would be, right down to like the commercial breaks being just long enough that they could do some behind the scenes stuff. And then I thought at the exact moment that Carmichael did the hypnosis routine and then everything starts going wrong was the perfect point to do that before you lingered too much on some of the chat show stuff. So yeah, I thought everything was just perfectly paced. I do agree with the person earlier who said maybe a good song over the end credits to just really wrap it up. But apart from that, I thought the pacing and storyline and structure of it was perfect.
Yeah. Did you want to go?
No, absolutely.
Oh, I was just gonna say, this was like an hour and a half, right?
Yeah.
That's like that perfect sweet spot for me. But yeah, it's a unique story. Like it's like we're watching we're watching a talk show, and it's like you're watching the performances of the psychic and everything, and the hypnotism, and I don't know, it's entertaining to watch. It's like you're watching a show. So I enjoyed the storyline, and then the whole possession is wild, and yeah, I thought it was a good storyline, well paced.
All right.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm just listening to your answer.
Oh, okay. I thought you were. Never mind. Okay.
I get resting bitch face, you know this. So I really enjoyed this story as well. Like I talked about earlier, I think the documentary segments as well and the earlier things I really found interesting. And then you actually getting to watch the episode, I thought it's a really good idea for a story. And like you guys said too, the talk show seemed incredibly like realistic and well thought out. And it's a movie that knows how to escalate things, but also give you a quick little breather.
Mhm.
Because you get the scene with Christo, the events happen, and then you get a slight break, but then you get some backstage stuff, and then it escalates again when he starts puking all over Carmichael. And then you get a slight break, and then you get the demonic possession, and then everything just escalates at a nice pace. By the end of it, it's fucking full-blown craziness. But I do have some questions. So Jack was a part of this cult, and he was drinking what? Blood?
I don't know. I got
Ian,
the whole.
you've seen this movie multiple times. Come on, hook me up.
I think so, because they have the priest from the Abraxas house was there too. So I think he was involved as well, and they were drinking blood in the sort of docu clips they're showing of him earlier. So yeah, I think that Abraxas house and the cult was connected, and he was drinking blood. But whether they were actually praying to Abraxas or it's there's a lot of vague stuff there where it's like you get enough, but it's also not clear whether that's actually what happened or whether Jack is just combining a bunch of stuff together. And yeah, I mean, it's not frustratingly vague, but it's like the movie gives you just enough, but it doesn't actually give you like the concrete answer on what's actually true or what's actually Jack just being so tormented by what he may or may not have done that he's just said he might be sending to insanity. I mean, it's because my thing was like, this would never air on any TV channel. Like, the way they tease it, it's like this forgotten footage we've shown you for the first time. It's like, but when you get to the end, who would put that on air? Like, so it's just that fascinates me too, because it just creates this sense of like, did he drink blood? Did he actually commune with the devil? Or is it just some rich guy's cult where they just hung out in woods and dressed up like owls? Like,
So when he like had to like put his wife out of his misery at the end, is that something he actually had to do then?
Well,
Or is that another question that
somebody's commenting about it, and that's their belief.
Oh,
And
sorry.
I really liked it.
I missed
actually.
that one.
ooh,
My belief, it's his wife's blood. He sacrificed her before she died of cancer. She gave him
ooh,
permission. The Grove has ties in with the true cult. At least my take. Oh, okay.
ooh.
I like it.
That's
Ah.
good. That's good.
I really liked that. But I thought the cult sacrificed children because they were literally like impregnating women and then sacrificing the children that they impregnated with. Like it's. But I guess it doesn't matter. A sacrifice is still a sacrifice.
Yeah.
But I
The
know.
whole storyline with his wife was sad.
Yeah, it was.
But that's a good take. Where'd we leave off? Storyline?
We are on favorite scenes.
All right. Favorite scenes.
I have to go for that. Like everything after it cuts the transmission card, and then it just starts dripping, and then it starts showing like the flashbacks of Jack and what may or may not be happening, and it just gets so weird, and music just is off, and he's just surrounded by owls and that priest from earlier, and it's just I'm just watching it thinking like, what is going on? Like, it took me a couple of views to actually try to piece it all together, but definitely that scene where he's on the that old woman spins the wheel and he's looking at the camera and he's screaming, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. because especially in Singmar, that was just like, that's just really tense. And he decided to shatter the fourth wall and just start shouting at the two people in front of me, the one person behind me, and we were like, wait, what? Like, but yeah, and especially that scene with Carmichael and Gus too, with like you said, it was disgusting to watch first time, but when they pulled that reveal on you, it's like you feel as tricked as the Chacha audience does, but in a different way, because it's just like, oh, the one clear-cut supernatural thing in the movie you've just told me has not actually happened. And it was like, I should be annoyed about this, but I'm more impressed that you're able to convince me it was actually going that way for 5 minutes. So that was a good scene too.
Yeah, I really like that worm scene too. But I think my favorite scenes are our introduction of Lily when she first comes on the screen, and then her first demonstration of the possession. Lily creeped me out. I like those scenes.
She's so awkward and unnatural.
Yeah. I think that's why I like it.
Let me see. I have pretty much like all the guests. So like you got Christo. I also put down Gus and the worms. And I had to put the girl gets possessed at the end. Like the whole third act, I really enjoyed because it's just so out there and it just screams Brendan. But I also like the documentary as well with Michael Ironside narrating. I think it's the perfect way to get you into what's going to happen.
Yeah. Did you guys have any least favorite scenes?
No, there was nothing that really stood out for me.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I don't really have anything. I guess like you talked about earlier with the Hyde guy beating on Gus, maybe, but I wouldn't say it takes away or
No.
It adds to the story. It doesn't take anything away. It's just that guy's a dick.
Yeah.
The killer.
Is there one?
Yeah.
I think you can almost kind of debate if David's the true
With how it ended.
With how it ended, and it's pretty much all his fault, right?
Yeah.
He's the protagonist and an antagonist as well.
Yeah.
I guess that kind of dual error for him because he sacrifices his wife to become number one. Clearly, I believe it was this was a show that was after his wife died. He waited a year before he came back on the show. Is that right?
I can't remember the timeline.
I think it's a month, but then I think he spends the next year trying to get it back to number one, and he just or something. I mean, the movie's not that specific with dates. It kind of keeps it.
Oh, Craig just said a month.
Craig, how many times have you seen this movie?
Craig's on top of this shit.
Yeah. He did more research than we did. Okay, so a month. So, and the talk show didn't do very well for a bit. So clearly his sacrifice never actually truly works for him until the end, where it really doesn't work for him, and it makes him number one. But I'm not sure. It doesn't say if he maybe died at the end, or if he was arrested, or does he go to jail? Is he number one now because he just committed murder on TV? He would be infamous for that, of course. But I think that's a route that you could also look down going for somewhat of a killer. You could also look down for Lily as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's who I was initially thinking, but the way you just mapped all that out.
Lily's kind of like an easy scapegoat, right?
Yeah.
She's the possessed, but she is pushed the entire time, and clearly she isn't right.
Mm-hmm.
So when Michael, what's his name? Carmichael. When he finally is pushing it at the end of the movie, and she just pretty much snaps, she doesn't officially snap, but the demon inside her snaps and is like, listen, I'm fucking real, bitch. And you're gonna see it.
Do you have anything to add for The Killer, Ian?
No, I mean, you guys have covered it really. It's like, I mean, it seems like you've got the demon where the movie persists that that's the one, but then yeah, like you guys saying, it's pretty much Jack with a slight combo of Littling Demon Insider is pushed to it, but Jack drives the entire plot. All of the everything that happens is based on things that he's responsible for. If he hadn't demanded they rewind the tape to show Minnie appearing in thin air, maybe nothing would have happened. Like, he was pushing it so far, and Demon just thought, okay, I'm done. Like, so yeah, no, I'd probably go more Jack than anything, because he drives all bad things forward through his own choices of like at the end where he's told, you need to cut to this Halloween horror parade, and he's like, no, we're going to keep going with this, and it's like, no, dude, don't keep going with it, you're making things worse. Like,
so we do a scary rating, and it's out of 10. 10 being the scariest movie you've ever seen, and a 1 being not scary at all. What would you rate this on a scary rating?
thing is, I can't give it 10 because it's not the scariest thing I've ever seen. But I'm going to go with, for me, that first viewing in cinema, I'm going to go with a 9 because that was very, very, very disturbing to watch. Yeah, I'm going to go for a 9 for that one.
Yeah. I'm going to go with a 4.
Okay.
For me. It did start to get me there near the end. I just wish that I could actually watch this movie in one fucking sitting, because I think it would.
You gotta stop falling asleep.
I
Stop
know.
watching it so late.
I know. It would. Because like we've talked about this before, when we would occasionally pause a movie and finish it the next day, that I hate to do. It just takes all the tension out of the movie for me.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I couldn't get through it a second time, even though I really tried. But it's still like my jaw was on the floor by the end of the movie.
Okay. I'm going with a 3. Yeah, I'm going with a 3. I don't have too many reasonings. The worms I thought were really gross.
Yeah. Definitely.
So final movie rating as a whole. Let me pull up our scale here. These are the emojis we rate our movies with. The piece of poop obviously being the lowest and the 100 being the highest. If you're somewhere in between, you can say like a high thumbs up or a low thumbs up. But what would you rate this movie overall?
I'm going to go for a high thumbs up. I don't think I can give it 100. But no, I really enjoyed it, and I've rewatched it a lot, and I think just the sheer uniqueness of it is just fantastic. So definitely high thumbs up.
Okay. What about you, Brennan?
I'm actually going to agree.
Yeah.
I don't think it's quite perfect, but it is damn near close.
Okay. The first time I rated this, I think I gave it an okay, and I think I'm sticking to it. Just my personal preference. This isn't really something that I'm going to watch again. It's just not my subgenre of horror. And that's really the only reason why. I don't think it's a bad movie. I did enjoy the performances, and I was entertained with the whole talk show, psychics, and all that stuff. But it's just not a me movie. So it's getting a solid okay.
It ain't no Friday the 13th, 09.
No, it's not. So rewatchability, and would you recommend? I forgot to bring that up. Would you recommend this movie and rewatch it?
I would, and I've rewatched it a lot, but I definitely recommend it to people. Like, if they want something a bit different, if they're a fan of naff 70s chat shows, and if they like effects which seem to be verging on warped AI technology, yeah, I definitely recommend it to anyone who was into that sort of thing, because for me, it's the best example of that sort of movie that you can get. So definitely highly recommend it.
Okay.
Yep, I definitely agree with that.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely recommend this movie too. Everyone loves it, so why not? Rewatchability, I already said though. I've watched it twice.
Yeah.
It's not my subgenre. Probably won't watch it again. Maybe in 10 years when I forget about it. Maybe I'll throw it on again, right?
When you're looking at a list of the top movies of the last decade,
Yeah.
this is like number 2. You're like, I should rewatch that.
So I'm gonna read some fun facts and then we'll sign out.
Sure.
And are you joining for the after hours?
Yeah, sure. Sounds
If
great.
it's not too late, of course. I know it's late there.
Oh, it's fine. It's only come up to 10 here, so I've got some time. So
Okay, yeah, we'll do a separate chat for that. But that's for the Patreon members. We'll do an after hours. It's half hour. We just shoot the shit.
cool. Yeah, sounds great.
All right. So fun facts.
Fun facts with the devil.
The Carmichael character is very clearly based on the real life James Randi. Oh, that's who I think it was Bitter Wolf was talking about. Yeah. Okay. Randi was a talented magician who became a famous psychic debunker, and he started an institute that offered a large reward to anyone that could reproduce their supposed paranormal powers in controlled conditions. Over decades, nobody was able to win the money.
Oh, wow.
Traditional folklore states that if a person makes a contract with the devil for earthly goods, the devil comes to claim his payment in 7 years. The documentary footage at the start of the film shows Delroy at the Grove in 1969. His wife dies in 1976, 7 years later.
Oh.
In a 2024 interview with the Movable Fest, Colin Cairns explained the reason the film is set in 1977. Quotations. The film had to happen on a Monday night for Sweeps Week, so the stakes are high, and this is the beginning of the week that's going to make or break Jack Delroy's career, right? And it just so happened that 1977 was the only year in the 70s where Halloween fell on a Monday night, so we thought 77. That's pretty much, you're right in the thick of it. So that worked for us.
Okay. That's some research.
Yeah. Actor David D.
David D.
David D. was cast in the lead role of his film's central character, Jack Delroy, after the film's directors read an article by him about regional horror TV hosts, which he had written for Fangoria magazine. Co-director Colin Cairns said in an interview with the film's 2 directors published in this magazine, well, I mean, other than just recognizing his awesome work and all the films he's been in. But then I opened up Fango one day and read an article by David on regional horror hosts, and reading that and knowing his work, I just thought this is going to be a really good fit. Obviously, our hero Jack is a TV host, so it felt like there would be some affinity there.
That's cool that he's a writer for Fangoria as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This horror movie's filmmakers, the Cairns brothers, Colin and Cameron, have said of this picture in an official statement. In the 70s and 80s, there was something slightly dangerous about late night TV. Talk shows in particular were a window into some strange adult world. We thought combining that charged live to air atmosphere with the supernatural could make for a uniquely frightening film experience. The amount of time that the opening black and white sequences runs for is about 8 minutes. It was inspired by the 1980s documentary, The Killing of America in 1981. The later sequences in black and white in the movie are the onset and off-air interludes during commercial breaks. That's a really long one. Is this worth reading? I guess so. We had 20 days in a studio, essentially one location on what was basically a 360-degree set. We shot the film like it was a TV show with 3 cameras running the whole time. There was the temptation there to shoot on all old vintage tube cameras, but just with the effects, demands, and everything, we ended up shooting digitally. But we shot using 3 cameras running all the time. For the set design, the inspiration was a lot of these game shows and talk shows from that period. But we were fortunate enough to have a production designer who worked in that era of local TV here, including a very popular music program called Countdown 1974. It was all too easy for him, and I think, to come up with that design. And that palette of browns and oranges and beige, it all felt very of the time, and we really embraced that. Famed horror novelist Stephen King has praised praised the movie. He said, "I got a screener. It's absolutely brilliant. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. Your results may vary, as they say, but I urge you to watch it when you can."
He's like, Stephen King is thinking I was way too fucked up during the 70s and 80s to even remember what one of those shows were. So it's like he's getting this nostalgia back.
Though set in New York City, the film was shot at the Dockland Studios in Melbourne, Australia. When Dr. June Ross Mitchell is trying to exorcise the demon Abraxas out of Lily, she orders Vade retro satana. It's a quote from the Latin used in exorcisms, meaning "get behind me, Satan," as exhortation to keep him to be gone. The cutaways and "we'll be back, right back" network messages were made with AI. And this is the third theatrical feature film written and directed by the Australian horror movie filmmakers, the Cairns brothers. The first two pictures were Scare Campaign 2016 and 100 Bloody Acres 2012. That's all I got.
Those are some fun facts.
Fun facts. So before we sign off, thank you for joining us, Ian, and for picking this movie.
Cool. Yeah,
And-
no, I had a great time. It's been fun.
Awesome. And do you want to let everyone know about your YouTube channels again and your Twitter so everyone knows where to find you?
Yeah, just they're both called Ian Makes Films. So if you search for those, you'll find them. And they've got loads of my terrible homemade horror movies on there. The worst British horror series ever made, the Bubba Batcher movies, which are all atrocious, but they're all free on YouTube. And if enough people watch them, I might get monetized. So please just have them on in the background, and eventually I'll be able to earn some more money from them. And yeah, so just subscribe. So yay.
Awesome. That's it.
That's
it.
That's a wrap.
Thanks for sharing your thoughts. It was fun listening to your discussion. Thanks for joining us, Bitterwolf.
Yeah, thank you.
And he also says, no, those movies are not atrocious. They are awesome, Ian.
Well, one of us is lying, and it's not me. So.
All right, so we are going to log off here, but this week I'm going on In Love with Horror on Tuesday to talk about nostalgia horror films. I think that's at 6 p.m. I gotta talk to Christy to make sure we're still doing this because I haven't talked to her about it since. And then Wednesday we're on Late Night with the Davey.
Yep.
I was about to say the devil because I was looking at the screen. Late Night with the Davey, and that's at 10 p.m.
Yep.
I believe.
Yep.
And then we don't have another. We're gonna do Jaws. We're gonna do Jaws this week.
Sam's gonna watch Jaws for the first time.
Yeah, I've never seen it. We are gonna pick a day.
Just don't watch it in 3D. Oh God, no! Don't do
3D.
That. Just watch the normal version.
We'll be watching the normal version.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I gotta watch that. We'll pick a day. I don't know what day we're gonna do it, but we'll do it live on here, and then we're doing Deep Blue Sea the following week.
Yes.
With Bucket of Chum podcast.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Well, thank you everybody that tuned in, and thanks again, Ian. And we'll catch you in the after hours in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Stay spooky.
Awesome.